So you don't need to be a good property developer or real estate to know how the game and to do well. SimCity, the board game, pretty much. Magnate, the first city, what we think of it, what it is about, coming up.
Hi everyone, it's Tarrant.
And Stella here from Meeple University. Today we are going to display this giant box game, Magnate, the first city.
Yes.
So you don't need to be a good property developer or real estate to know how the game and to do well, because our last game, the winner was somebody who has no experience in those, but win.
Yes.
Your brother.
Yes, indeed. So, yes, this is by James Naylor of Naylor Games, recently off crowdfunding. Yep.
Yeah, off crowdfunding. We just say crowdfunding, like these days there are so many, right? Oh, not that many. Yes, crowdfunding.
Exactly.
It's fresh from crowdfunding.
Yep. And this is, so the game pitches itself, doesn't say it on the front, but it says it on the side, the property game for the 21st century. Which, yeah, there's a bit of, what's it called? A bit of irony, a bit of cynicism involved in that.
Correct.
But
in a good way, yeah.
But you'll see how it works in this game context.
Yes. So we're going to share you a quick overview of how it plays and then what we think of it.
Yes. So this is the Magnate city here. And it's made up of 6 individual tiles and a 7th central city tile, which actually doesn't change at all. It just sits there and forms part of it. Kind of helps. And there's 4 types of buildings that you can do. And through the game, you're going to be buying plots of land. Buying plots of land and then building up buildings, renting them out to tenants, and trying to make a profit.
Yes,
trying to sell it for a profit as the property market goes up.
Before the market crash, ding, ding, ding.
Yes, so that's where the cynicism of the 21st century property market comes in. The whole thing is a giant bubble. And at the end of the game, the market is going to crash hard.
Yeah.
And so a big part of this game is about getting the property, getting as much increase in value as you can, and then selling out before the market crashes, because anything you're left with is going to be worth a lot less. So you begin this game with $2 million. There's all these big wads of money here to represent that money.
Yeah.
You begin with $2 million and the land price is $300,000, and you will begin by buying plots of land. So plots of land will come out randomly based on these tiles when they get drawn, and more of them will come out each round. So you can buy these plots of land, and then you can start constructing buildings on them. And there's 4 types of buildings. There's residential, there's retail, there's offices, and there's industrial. And there's a small version and a big version of each of them. They all have these big mini pieces. So here, for example, I can build a nice little house here, or there's a big apartment block that you could go for. Build a little retail unit or build a huge shopping mall.
Nice.
Things like that. So each round you'll get 3 actions that you can use to buy land, build properties, or try to sell properties.
And that's one player, one action at a time and going around.
Yes. And then at the start of each round, so the round after you've built something, you can try to bring in tenants. And bringing in tenants is a dice rolling exercise. And it's also a matter of the city building up all at once. And this is quite a nice feature of the game, a nice thematic part of the game.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to bring in a residential tenant, for example, you look at that tile and the 3 tiles around it and figure out how many retail tenants and how many office tenants there are, and you roll dice equal to the lower of those 2 numbers. And as you roll these dice, you're trying to hit combinations that will give you certain types of tenants. And if you're playing the advanced game, that can range for residential, for example, between students and a professional couple and families, and you'll get more rent and more bonuses for the better ones, but you need to roll better dice to get them in.
And there are dice mitigation as well, of course.
Yes, you can advertise. Advertising will give you turn some dice into 5s, so you've got that mitigation. And when you've got good things around you, it can attract more tenants.
Better tenants.
Better tenants, yes. So this house here, for example, is next to some nice parkland, and that gives you a modifier on all of those dice and makes them higher, helps you bring in better tenants.
So it is quite thematic as well in that way. You know, there's like different types of tenants. The better tenants give you more income, and the not so good tenants is like, anyways, continue and then we'll...
Worse income and no benefits.
Yes.
And in the same sort of way, retail, you roll dice based on how much residential there is around that retail. Offices, likewise, you need residential around to build up the offices. And industry is either supported by residential or other industry. And so you can see you can't specialize on just one thing. You need to build everything up, all at a similar sort of pace. At the end of each round, so this is where the crash mechanic happens. At the end of each round, you'll look to see how heavily the market's gone into. So if there's any types of tenants that are completely empty here, you'll start drawing risk cards. And the risk card may move you down. So you've got this little stock market collapse
so
icon
cute.
here. It may start to move you down on the crash track. If the land price is too high, then you'll start to draw risk cards for that. If players have not been advertising, then the market gets shaky and you'll start drawing risk cards.
And certain tenants are empty as well, of one type, and then you might get risk card as well.
Or if lots of players have been selling,
Yeah.
that's also going to start drawing risk cards. The market gets all suspicious. The more people sell, the higher the price goes, but the risk will go up. And eventually, you'll get to the point where you've drawn enough of these risk cards that it will crash the market, and the price might be up here at this point. The game ends immediately, and then you look at all of these cards. It will tell you how much the price drops from the crash. So here it's a 5 across the cards I've drawn here. You would plummet the price by 5, and then everyone sells anything that's left at this lower price. And that's kind of how the game works. You get your tenant, you get big profits on the buildings as well. So a building has a fixed cost based on the building. The land will depend on the land price. But then when you sell the building, you count up the land, the building, all the tenants that are inside, and any of these bonuses, like this one here, on the adjacent squares, and you multiply that by the land price. And so you can get huge amounts of money off just a little house or an apartment building full of students.
So there is one important mechanic that we didn't really think of it at the start, but as the game goes, we're like, okay, that's really important, which is the first player bidding. So the first player marker is so cute. It is this little excavator thing that has got a bit of a wheel at the bottom, and then you can move it like this, like that.
I got excavated.
You got excavated. So yeah, see the little wheel see?
Yeah.
So is it necessary? Probably not. Do I like it? Yes. It is very important because the first turn, the first round doesn't really matter, but then you realize, oops, there are limited amounts of tenants. The first player get to roll the dice first for all of their buildings so that they can get the better tenants, or like the tenants not ran out, and they can get tenants, because you don't get tenant, you don't get income, rental income.
And the price doesn't go up as high.
That's correct, when you sell it.
Yes.
And then
the turn order auction,
yes.
And it is a straight auction. It's pay money to become first player in an open auction. That is a critical part of the game as well, and important to have money at the right time in order to do that.
So you probably want to sell things at the end of last round, but then if you sell things at the start of next round, then you probably get more money because land price most probably going up.
Yep.
And that's also determined who can take the first action, which means you know, if you see a good plot of land that you think is going to work for you, for your strategy, and you just want to get in there first and then buy it.
Yes, because there are plots of land that that quickly become more valuable. A house that has a lot of families, a house that has a family in it, is going to make a nearby house better. And we're talking about the advanced version of the game there. So there are two versions. The simpler version, all the tenants are the same, but it doesn't add that much complexity to go to the different types of tenants. And so, yeah, it takes higher die rolls to get, say, a law firm versus a tech company, but you'll get more rent, you'll get higher property values from that extra sort of tenant.
Indeed. It was... Let's just share what we think of it, shall we?
Yes.
All right. It is a fun game. It is a fun game. If you... First, we're going to talk about the components. It is very necessary. Probably not. Can it be a little bit smaller? Maybe. But I am enjoying... Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is the big office building here.
Yeah.
It's huge and it gets in the way of the tokens, but it does lend to the fun of the game.
It is. It's like...
Big box fun.
It is the easiest way to look at what building it is. The color, definitely. Oh, yeah, this color, obviously for non-colorblind, but colorblind can just see the shape as well. So either way is good. The board, it's actually not that sprawling. It's just that it's quite large, but it's not that sprawling, so that's okay. Still,
fixed footprint, it doesn't grow.
Yes. Regardless of the number of players, and player will get their own, little play area. It doesn't actually take that much space.
All you're holding is money and advertising tokens.
Yes,
and the excavator if you've won it.
Yeah, and the player reference
rotates as well.
Oh, that's awesome. And the money over there.
Yep.
I love it. There's something about paper money. We did not play with this last time because we played 5 players and we kind of like feels like, okay, saving a little bit of space. There are some dry snacks as well around the table that take up some space. Anyways, so this is actually really cool. Like just something about paper money, and the paper money is actually the backers. Like if you saw it, right? Like some of the backers are, you can back more and then you'll appear on the paper money, or you can nominate somebody to appear the paper money, which is cool. Like, look at this. It comes with a wallet where you can put your money. That's a component. The game-wise, it is very fun. It does feel a bit like one of those sim games. Like I'm sure there are lots of sim games. City building, maybe, city skyline type of thing, just really down, not as complex. You buy land, you sell. Maybe not city skyline, it's the other type of sim game, tycoon, sim tycoon, whatever. City tycoon. It feels a bit like there's, you can flip a house, the next round to make quick cash, or you can hold on to it, get income, and then hope that you sell it at a better price later, because price usually increase. So it's that sort of like economic speculation fun. I used to work in real estate, in property management, which deals with rental. So this is not sales, but it's kind of like real estate. Also, I did not do that well. But one of my friends was like, you should do well. You used to work in real estate, right? Like, yeah, but your brother won and he has no experience with real estate. So no, you don't need real estate experience. No, you don't need to be a property developer. But yeah, I think it's just a fun way of building and then looking at what other people are doing. It's quite interactive as well because it really affects your turn. And the bidding of the first player is really fun.
Yeah. I like it as well. I think it's a very good fun game. It is. I think it looks more heavy or overwhelming than it is. It's actually quite a. It can be a family level game or it can be a light gamer game.
I guess counting the tenants could be a little bit, tedious.
Yeah, that's the one bit that looks complex, is where you've got to count all the little populations on the tenants, count all the little bonuses on all these tiles. It feels overwhelming at first, but it's actually pretty simple. And by the time we played 2 or 3 rounds, everyone was fully in tune with what was going on.
That's true.
The gamers out there are going to say, oh, what are these dice things that are making it random, whether I get my tenants? And there is a huge part of the game which is really, the win or lose is going to depend on. There'll be one round where everyone is selling everything because they can see the market about to crash. And then whoever's coming second or third's like, you know what, I'm going to hang on. I'm just going to try to hang on and hope it doesn't crash. And who wins or loses is probably going to depend on whether it crashes.
That was really fun yesterday because I think 2 people hedging on market's going to crash this end of the round. And then 2 others are like the others like neutral. It's like... like 2, right? 2 was hanging, like 1 is thinking it's gonna crash, and then just like betting on it. Okay, I'll buy more land, but then it got crashed. Yeah. It was so fun.
Yeah. So I mean, if that sort of wild swing doesn't appeal to you, then this game's not going to appeal to you. Mm-hmm. But it is a fun play. Yeah. There's no doubt.
And it is, even like with 5 players, it's pretty quick in between turns because each player will just do one action and then go to the next player until everyone, so it goes around 3 times until everyone does 3 actions.
Yeah, if I think, when I look at the things that, there was only really one thing that frustrated me about this game, which was the turn order auction, the first player auction rather than a turn order auction, because you can definitely, particularly when the tenants are running thin, you can benefit substantially just by the person on your right renting it more than the person on your left.
That's correct.
And I mean I think that's one of my
nitpick.
It's one of my triggers in a general not triggers, but it's one of my
triggers.
It's one of my things in a general sense that that can frustrate me about a first player thing. It's the classic thing everyone knows at Terra Mystica. That was one of the things that annoyed people about Terra Mystica, that it only had a first person to pass was first player, but then it was clockwise, and then everyone house ruled that passing order became, and then and so on. I've said a lot about that. So that is, from a gamer standpoint, the one thing that frustrates me. It could do with a full turn order auction. And maybe even an Indonesia style turn order auction.
You can't even say the country I am from. Oh,
yeah, maybe even that Splotter Indonesia type turn order auction where you bid the money but you don't lose it. You just put it in your endgame scoring pile. Which is sort of like it means you...
It's more complex though, making it slightly more complex.
Makes it more complex, but it also lessens the cost instead of costing the money entirely, it just costs the opportunity cost of that money.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's been like play tested so many times. I've seen it around, like people play testing it. I'm sure it works to make it a lighter game.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's appropriate for the complexity of the game. Yeah. But
if you want to have it heavier,
I would immediately be looking. All right, how can I house rule that to make that?
This is
work?
Just an automatic thing that we do. Tarrant does, especially Tarrant.
Yeah, and it didn't harm me at all during the game. I was like paying small amounts to get first player early on.
I know, and then I was sitting to the right of you, so I always like last player. I'm like no, but then our friend to the right, he actually did pay a big amount. The last round, I was like, yes, I'm second player. Yeah, I can see that what you say.
Also, the round I'm thinking of where this happened, like 4 players built office blocks on the same round. So it's actually each subsequent player who built an office block knowing that was going to be tight.
In tenants.
Because there's 4 different types of buildings here. Even in a 5-player game, if everyone's building at different times, then you'll have a bit less of that competition. So,
yeah, that's actually true.
One soft type of thing, but yeah, that's the only place I can fault this game for what it is. It's
the rest is fun.
Yeah, the rest is fun, and I'm only going to say fun because it's not your heavy gamer strategy type of thing. Random things are going to happen,
like this
but you're going to have a good time.
Exactly. I think you do if you don't take it too seriously. And the dice roll is probably my nitpick of the day, because I usually roll bad. There was one time where I could not get the right one. Well, that was that time when I was second player in a turn, and I thought I was going to get a good one because that was really competitive to get tenants in the office building. And I didn't get the good one, so I was so sad because bad dice roll. I mean, it's probably me as well. I didn't invest more on advertising. If I did, then I would have probably got better tenants.
Yeah.
They should have a property manager expansion. To get better tenants.
Let you, level up the tenants.
Yeah.
As we said, the only difference really between the beginner and the advanced game is that you've got 3 different types of tenants instead of a generic tenant.
It's not that much different.
Anyone who's played any sort of heavy game will be able to go straight into the heavy one as well.
Yeah.
It's also got a tutorial setup. There's this whole deck of tutorial cards. I guess this is of that, the modern style of thing where instead of reading the rule book, you just pick up the cards and read the cards out. The game is not that complex to require that, in my opinion.
Depends if it's a family type of game, it probably benefit more on that sort of tutorial. Possibly.
Anyway, that's that comes with the game as well. It's got a tutorial setup where you de-randomize some of the setup things. But yeah, the full advanced mode is pretty easy to jump straight into, in my opinion.
So in summary, we both enjoyed. I think all of our other friends, your brother, also enjoyed the game.
Yeah, everyone had a good time.
Yeah, everyone had a good. It's really a fun time where you're like, oh no, this person built that. Oh no, that person built that. Oh no, it's gonna crash. It's gonna crash. Oh no, you stole my tenants. Like that sort of things. So hopefully you get to play this at some point and then enjoy it. But please do let us know if maybe you agree with Tarrant, with the turn order things. Have you played Terra Mystica? Have you played anything that's quite like this? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to see your comments and then replying to those. Anything else, Tarrant?
No, I think that covers. I mean, we could talk more about some of the ways that the game played, the different sorts of strategies. Like I bought the best land early on, and then everyone just built around it, and then I came in late and made a $300,000 micro profit on it because the game ended earlier than I hoped. But
and then you built a house, and then your brother brought the price down by building an industrial unit, and I was like, no. Next to it.
Yep. You can also you can also buy land next to some of your land, even if the for sale hasn't come out. It costs double, but sometimes it's the position that you really need.
Yeah. Like relative. It's very thematic,
There's
right?
just enough little things that doesn't make the game complex, but gives you a lot of things you can do.
Yep, indeed. It is
There's also six of these tiles. So, 12 of these tiles. So you can get a random 6, and you can maybe it's a more industrial heavy landscape, or they all have different sorts of benefits.
And that is it. Magnate, the first city.
It's in a big box.
Yeah. Well, it's got this little big, not little, still little but big building, and that. It let us know if you have any questions, any comments. Please write. Thank you, Tarrant. Right below. Anything else, Tarrant? I think that's it.
That's it.
That is Magnate. And if you find this useful, it will be really helpful if you could please hit the like button. Thank you for that. And subscribe to us if you haven't already done so. We do video like this, like a review. We do my Stella Tarrant suite, which is an overview fun, usually with caution. Tarrant does how to play. We do live playthrough every weekend and every Thursday evening, whatever. And so on. And then, other bits and pieces video. And I'm also on Instagram. Hopefully we'll find each other there. And hopefully we will see you next time. Bye.